Welcome back, everyone. Today I am going to do an overview on the DB Metalworx front frame stiffeners post install. Let's get at it. All right, first things, apologize for the lighting. It's not real bright today. I just got in the shop, it's cold, and the lights are kind of still warming up. So we're gonna work with what we got so I can get back to work. I haven't cleaned anything up. This is exactly how it looks post-weld. I haven't grinded anything. This is the first big project that I've done with a welder, and the first time that I've welded with that Hobart 220. So don't beat me up too bad on it. It's got plenty of penetration and it ain't gonna go anywhere. So with that being said, I really like this kit, especially for the money. $300, I cannot complain about it. Fitment wise, there's a ton of years for Cherokees. I don't know what all they changed throughout the years, and I think this is a kit for Cherokee and a Comanche. So, driver's side, your 3 steering box bolts right here are your most important to line up. When I first put this on here and clamped it down, they did not. You can see I kind of modified this a little bit. I had to, this came over quite a bit farther. I ended up having to cut almost an inch off this maybe, and kind of at an angle. This whole section right here, I clearanced a little bit more. If you've ever put these on, you know right here it's hard to weld regardless. And I just kind of clearanced it out some more so I can get the nozzle, the welder down in there to run a better bead. I wish I'd have done it some on the other side, but it's not bad over there. But when doing so, I did have to push it all towards the rear of the vehicle to get these bolt holes to line up. And I chose to modify this side of it to get them holes to line up rather than wallering them holes out. So I cut this out a little bit to make sure that hole's still almost the same size, and it's close. I'm not going to complain about that. I am excited to have them on there though. It definitely is going to be stronger. I have a little bit more work to do for my track bar bracket here, which that's aftermarket. None of your stock ones are going to be like mounted like that. But that's all the modifications I had to do. On this side, I did put a little relief cut back there. I chose not to weld over it because I can't get a grinder behind this to level it back out. I'm just going to run a little bit of seam seal in there, slick it up. I'm going to knock down some of the high spots on these welds, run that seam sealer on it, scuff it, and then it's ready for paint after I brace that up some more. If you haven't watched my first video of the overview when I got that, check it out. You'll see why I got this Jeep so cheap. 600 bucks. Basically this track bar mount ripped out of the unibody. I had to patch the unibody, and that's why I'm stiffening it. So let's go to the other side. All right, passenger side. This is the side I did the install video on. So I think if you check that video out, you probably know a majority of what I had to do with it, which really wasn't all that much. I think the only thing, excuse me, that I did was did a relief cut back there to close that gap as best as I can. Everything else lined up pretty well over here. You can see how close that is when I ran them beads, and they're not pretty, I'm not gonna lie, but they got plenty of penetration and they're not gonna go anywhere. So that's why I was talking about, I wish I would have reliefed that a little bit more just so I could get the nozzle of the welder in there and run a better bead on it. But overall, everything lined up pretty well on this side. I didn't use any of these holes over here. But they weren't bad at all. You might have to shift it a little bit if you need to use them, but I did not. As far as this triangulated brace piece right here that was for the fender, most people cut them off when they put aftermarket bumpers on anyhow, so I wasn't concerned about that. But the bolt hole for it is like right here next to this hole. So if you try to save that, you're not going to be able to unless you drill an extra hole, or you could just waller that one out. So overall, I'm really happy with this kit. It turned out really good. Looks good. It's definitely a lot more beefed up than factory. I'm not as worried about it twisting or that track bar breaking again, which is the sole reason I did this. But definitely, if you have a Jeep that's modified, I mean, I got axle swaps. It's on 37s right now. That unibody just, it wasn't designed to do it. Take the abuse. So definitely look into them, man. Cheapest set I found on the internet, and quality is really well. So, all right, that's gonna wrap this video up for the DB Metalworx front post-installation review on the frame stiffeners. Overall, I'm very satisfied with the product, especially for the cost. I will leave a link to them in the description below. Check them out if you're interested in them. And also, let me know what you want to see on the channel. I'm going to have the middle and the rear sections coming up shortly. But after that, I'm not really sure which direction I'm going to go with it. I got to get the windshield fixed where the guy wrecked it when the track bar bracket broke, so I can get this thing inspected and back on the road. But I'm very excited to get it out on the trail, and hopefully I can do some videos on that, get my GoPro with the waterproof on it, and do some at least time lapses and see how this thing does, because I haven't even got to drive it around the block yet. So let me know what you want to see, and hang out. Stay tuned. We'll see what happens. Thanks for watching. See you.